I found my fiancée's secret diary 3 weeks before our wedding. What I read inside made me realize I never knew her at all. And the last entry was dated yesterday. My name is Ethan, I'm 30 years old, and I thought I was about to marry the love of my life. Her name was Victoria, and we'd been together for 4 years. She was everything I'd ever wanted. Intelligent, beautiful, ambitious, kind. At least that's what I believed. We met at a charity gala where she worked in event planning, and I was there representing my tech startup. She approached me first, made me laugh, challenged my opinions about artificial intelligence and the future of work. By the end of the night, I was completely captivated. 6 months later, we moved in together. 2 years after that, I proposed on a beach in Santorini at sunset, and she said yes with tears streaming down her face. Everything felt perfect, like a story that was always meant to happen. The wedding was planned for June 15th. 300 guests, a venue overlooking the ocean, a honeymoon in Bali already booked. My parents adored her. Her parents treated me like the son they never had. Our friends called us the perfect couple, said we restored their faith in love. I believed them. I believed all of it. Until I found the diary. It was a Saturday afternoon, 3 weeks before the wedding. Victoria was at her final dress, fitting with her bridesmaids, and I was home alone, cleaning out the closet to make room for wedding gifts. I reached up to the top shelf for a box of old photos, and my hand knocked something else down. A leather-bound notebook, burgundy, worn at the edges. It landed open on the floor, pages spreading like wings. I picked it up, intending to close it and put it back. But my eyes caught my own name, written in Victoria's handwriting. Ethan proposed today. I should feel happy, but all I feel is relief that the plan is working. I froze. Read it again. Relief that the plan is working. What plan? My hand started shaking as I flipped to the first page. The diary started 4 years and 2 months ago, right before we met. The first entry made my blood run cold. Met the target tonight at the Westmont Charity Gala. His name is Ethan Pierce, net worth approximately $8 million. No family money, all self-made from his software company. Perfect profile, attractive, successful, naive enough to believe in love at first sight. Initiated contact. He took the bait easily. I couldn't breathe. This had to be a joke, some kind of creative writing exercise. But I kept reading, page after page, and the truth assembled itself like a nightmare coming into focus. Victoria wasn't her real name. It was Jessica Hartley. She was part of what she called a romance syndicate, a group of women who targeted wealthy men, built relationships with them, married them, and then divorced them for massive settlements. She'd done it twice before. The first husband was a real estate developer in Chicago. She married him at 23, divorced him 2 years later, walked away with $4 million. The second was a hedge fund manager in New York. 3-year marriage, $6 million settlement. I was target number 3. Every moment of our relationship was choreographed. The charity gala wasn't coincidence. She'd researched me for weeks, knew I'd be there, knew what topics would intrigue me, what type of woman I was attracted to. She'd studied my interviews, my social media, my public speeches, crafted a personality designed specifically to make me fall in love. The diary detailed everything. How she pretended to love the same obscure jazz musicians I liked. How she faked interest in hiking even though she hated it. How she laughed at my jokes even when they weren't funny. How she monitored my ex-girlfriend's social media. to understand what had gone wrong in those relationships, so she could be different, could be better, could be exactly what I needed. One entry from our first anniversary read, "Ethan told me he loves me more than he thought possible to love anyone. The isolation phase is complete. He's cut off most of his old friends because they don't fit our lifestyle. His business partner expressed concerns about me last month, so I've been working to turn Ethan against him. Should have him removed from the company within 6 months." I felt sick. I remembered that time. Remembered how Victoria had subtly pointed out ways my business partner Marcus was taking advantage of me, planting seeds of doubt, until I eventually bought him out of the company. Marcus tried to warn me, said something felt off about Victoria. I called him paranoid, accused him of being jealous of my happiness. We haven't spoken in a year. The diary entries became more calculated as the wedding approached. She'd consulted with lawyers about prenuptial agreements, figured out exactly what to agree to and what to push back on to avoid suspicion. She'd documented my assets down to the last detail, including investments I'd never told her about, which meant she'd been going through my private documents. She'd even researched the best time to file for divorce for maximum settlement. 2 to 3 years post-marriage, she wrote, long enough to claim substantial contribution to his success, short enough to avoid actual emotional attachment. I read 4 years of my life reduced to a business plan. Every kiss was strategic. Every I love you was calculated. Every moment of intimacy was a transaction moving her closer to her goal. The most recent entry was from yesterday, 3 weeks until the wedding. Everything is in place. Ethan suspects nothing. He's so trusting it's almost sad. Part of me wonders if this is wrong, but then I remember the money and the feeling passes. After this one, I might retire. 8 million from him plus what I already have puts me at 18 million total. Could buy that villa in Portugal I've been eyeing. Maybe find someone to actually love. But not until after the divorce. Can't risk emotional complications now. I sat on our bedroom floor surrounded by 4 years of lies and felt my entire identity crumbling. Who was I if I could be fooled this completely? What did it say about me that I'd loved a ghost, a performance, a character designed to exploit my weaknesses? I thought about confronting her. Imagined her walking through the door from her dress fitting, smiling that smile I thought was real, and me throwing the diary at her feet. But something stopped me. If I confronted her now, she'd disappear. Maybe sue me anyway for breach of promise or some other legal manipulation she'd planned for contingencies. She'd orchestrated everything so carefully. I needed to be just as careful. I took photos of every page of the diary, backed them up to 3 different cloud services. Then I put the diary back exactly where I found it. When Victoria came home that evening, glowing and excited about how perfect the dress looked, I kissed her and told her I couldn't wait to marry her. Watched her eyes for any hint of guilt or deception. Saw nothing but the performance she'd perfected over 4 years. I called my lawyer Monday morning, showed him the photos of the diary. His face went pale. He'd drawn up our prenuptial agreement, thought it was solid, but Victoria had been subtle in her negotiations. She'd positioned herself to claim she'd sacrificed her own career to support mine, which was technically true because I'd encouraged her to quit her event planning job 2 years ago so we could travel more together. Another piece of her plan I'd walked into blindly. My lawyer said even with the diary as evidence, a court battle would be expensive and ugly, and she might still walk away with millions. Better to not marry her at all, he said. Cut losses now. But I couldn't just call off the wedding without explanation. Couldn't let her know I'd discovered the truth and give her time to pivot to some other strategy. So I did something I'm not proud of, but felt necessary. I set a trap. I told Victoria I'd been thinking about our future, about kids, about where we wanted to live long-term. I suggested we revise the prenup to include an infidelity clause. If either of us cheated within the first 5 years of marriage, the cheater would get nothing in a divorce. She resisted at first, said it seemed like I didn't trust her. But I played it perfectly. Said I wanted her to be protected too, since I traveled for work and she'd expressed insecurity about that before. She agreed. We signed the revised prenup 2 weeks before the wedding. Then I hired the same private investigator she'd apparently used to research me. Had him dig into Jessica Hartley's past. He found everything. Court records from her previous divorces. Aliases she'd used. A website on the dark web where women shared strategies for targeting and extracting money from wealthy men. Victoria, or Jessica, was practically famous in these circles, known as the Phantom, because her targets never saw her coming. The investigator also found something else. She had a boyfriend, a man named Derek, who lived 2 hours away. They'd been together the entire time she'd been with me. He was in on the scheme, helped her research targets, split the profits. The investigator got photos of them together, kissing, laughing, living what looked like a genuine relationship while she performed love with me. I showed Victoria everything the night before the wedding. She was getting ready for the rehearsal dinner when I walked into the room and placed the diary, the photos, the court records, and the pictures of her, with Derek on the bed. Watched her face cycle through confusion, shock, fear, and finally, cold calculation. She didn't apologize, didn't beg, just asked how much I wanted for my silence. Assuming she could still buy her way out, I told her to leave, to disappear from my life completely, or I'd press charges for fraud, share everything with law enforcement and the media. She was gone within an hour, took some clothes and nothing else. I called off the wedding the next morning, told family and friends that we'd realized we wanted different things, kept the details vague. Some people thought I got cold feet. Some suspected Victoria had cheated, which was technically true even if not the way they imagined. I let them think what they wanted. The truth was too complicated, too humiliating. 300 guests received cancellation notices. The venue kept the deposit. Airlines and hotels couldn't refund most of the bookings. I lost about $50,000 on the wedding that never happened. But I saved $8 million, and possibly my sanity. Small price for escaping a trap I never saw until it was almost too late. Now I live in the same apartment, but it feels haunted by her ghost. I find myself questioning everything. Every woman who talks to me, I wonder if she's researched me first. Every connection feels potentially manufactured. My therapist says I have trust issues, which seems like an understatement. How do you trust anyone when someone can fake love so perfectly for 4 years? When every intimate moment, every whispered secret, every shared dream was nothing but a performance designed to rob you? Marcus reached out after hearing about the wedding cancellation. Apologized for not trying harder to warn me. We're rebuilding our friendship slowly. He never asks what happened, just accepts that I'm not ready to talk about it. Sometimes I think about Victoria, or Jessica, whoever she really is. Wonder if she found another target. Wonder if some other man is falling in love with a ghost right now, believing he's found his soulmate while she counts down to payday. I hope not. I hope my silence wasn't a mistake, that I should have exposed her publicly to protect others. But I was too broken, too embarrassed, too desperate to just move on. That's the real tragedy of what she did. She didn't just steal money or time. She stole my ability to believe in love itself. Left me wondering if genuine connection even exists, or if we're all just performing for each other, using each other, waiting for the moment to cash out. I don't know if I'll ever trust someone enough to try again. Don't know if I want to. Because now I know how perfectly someone can lie, how completely you can be deceived by a person you sleep next to every night. And that knowledge feels like a scar that will never fully heal.